Up everybody, welcome back to the channel and a Blood and Plunder battle report today. We got a little something special for you today. We're going all out on board setup and some other fancy things here. So we're playing just the raid scenario, nice and basic. We're going to have the French be the defenders, and they're basically starting off here having just landed or about to land at this port. Again, we got some ships here. We're not really going to use them for any actual ship things in this game. They're just more for decoration, so we're not going to be busting out cannons and all that stuff. But we got a decently sized French force here, several units. We got some flibustiers, buccaneers, and sailors and so on. And again, we're just using generic characters here, but pretty cool setup here with all the foreground terrain. And then our arch nemesis here, the Spanish, who've been, if you followed our videos, the Spanish have just been wiping out the French in every game. So we're going to see how this one goes. But again, a similarly sized French force and some new goodies here. So we got a big archer unit there as well for the Spaniards. So that's going to be probably pretty deadly. And then the infamous pikemen or spearmen. They've been stars in the previous battles as they just kind of bust through any opposing unit that they've encountered, and some Spanish sailors as well, some marineros. So pretty cool board setup, like we said. We're gonna get into the thick of it here. So this is kind of everything set up pre-turn one, and then we'll see how things progress there. So again, the Spaniards in this, being the attackers, they have to essentially make it to the shoreline, is what we've determined here. So as far as strike points and victory conditions go. So we'll see how things unfold here. We're going to do our best as the French to get up and get some good defensive positions and weather the storm here and see if we can keep them away from the harbor. So we'll be back at the end of turn one. Alrighty guys, we're back. Turn one was a nice quick one, a lot of just movement basically. So the French got out of the boats and tried to get as far up as possible. We didn't feel like taking any fatigues just in case, depending on how things go here, turn two, and being able to just give the Spanish a nice welcome should they get close enough and get some good shots in. So again, everybody got out of the boats there. We're just trying to get to good defensive positions. I feel like after two, the Spanish will certainly have made the town. So it's going to get bloody real quick. Spanish, on the other hand, also moved up, though one of their units did take a fatigue because they went and did the extra action there. So again, they should make the town, or at least the edge of town, turn two here. But they're coming up in a pretty solid line. Again, always going to keep an eye out on the spearmen here, just because they have been so deadly in our past games. And the sailors are kind of just hanging out over here. So we'll see how things go at the end of turn two for you guys. Alrighty guys, we're back at the end of two, so we had a little bit of action here. So again, the Spanish are rushing the town, so they are going to be on us definitely next turn. Some of the milicianos came up the ramp. We got some of our buccaneers in line there and gave them a volley, and actually managed to drop two of them, although they passed all their fatigue tests, so they do not have any fatigue on the Spanish side there. We did take a fatigue just to get some extra reloading, and that's kind of where we are now. So we're just going to try our best to keep them away from the harbor as long as possible to basically win the scenario. So we'll see how things go in turn three. This is definitely going to be one where the action really starts heating up. We'll be right back. Alright, back at the end of turn three here, so things did get a little bit more bloody. The buccaneers unloaded some more into the milicianos for the Spanish, really whittling them down. And surprisingly, for the first time in several games, actually kind of just holding their own. Dice are with us so far. Spanish did have to burn 2 fortune tokens, 2 of their 3 fortune already this turn, for not much on their side. So they got some fatigue, some reload. The milicianos indios did come up and drop one of the buccaneers finally, so a little bit of damage caused there. Rest of the Spanish forces, so the lanceros came up. They decided to hide behind the wall because they didn't want to deal with a volley from those guys. And then our Caribbean militia came up and knocked out one of the marineros. And then our French sailors are just kind of hiding out in the courtyard here, waiting to see what happens, and hopefully maybe just be a speed bump to the lancers. And we're just trying to keep the Spanish out of the port. So turn four is definitely going to be crucial. We'll see how the fatigue piles up and the reloads, but it's definitely on the Spanish to get further up the board. So we'll see how things go. We'll be back. All right, at the end of four, lots of death and destruction here. So nothing really happening with the milicianos. The buccaneers basically decided to reload, but then they were drowned in arrows by the Milicianos Indios, lost several guys, and then that got them shaken, so they're running away, and then they're going to have to test here. The Buccaneers basically just kind of shuffling around, and I think they're going to try and hold off the Spanish from that direction. Over on the other side, things also got bloody. The Spanish marineros charged in, killed some of the Caribbean militia. Our sailors who were hiding in the courtyard heard all the commotion, opened the door, charged in, and wiped out the rest of the marineros. And then the lancers didn't have the actions really to get up there and charge into the French, so they're kind of trying to do an end around here and get to the shore and maybe commandeer one of the boats. The Spanish do have a strike point against them, but so I have 2 turns left here to see if they can get to the edge, and we're going to try our best to slow them down. So we'll be back at the end of 5 for you guys. Okay, back at the end of turn 5, so a very bloody turn and a good comeback by the Spaniards. So the Milicianos are ducking away, running towards the shore. The Indios have dropped some more arrow fire and killed another one of the Buccaneers as they were running away, although they've managed to rally. And then in some melee action, that's actually a thing. Melee action, we again obliterated the Spanish sailors last turn, but then the pikemen came in, killed our sailors after they whiffed with their pistols from close range. Embarrassing. And then they went in and charged also the Caribbean militia and sadly wiped those out. We did take out one of the pikemen, but still not much. So representing the Caribbean militia as they broke because of the fatigue. And then we did pour on some damage to the natives with our Buccaneers, or sorry, not the Buccaneers, the Flibustiers. So we got one final turn here. I think they're probably going to get there with the Miliciano, so we'll just have to see what we can do there and see how the game ends up. But I think with casualties, we'll have to double check. I think the French do have a strike point against them now, and we'll have to check on the Spanish numbers as well. So, but last turn coming up here. All right, guys, at the end of the game here, so very bloody. The Spanish, again, carrying that momentum from the previous turn, eked out a small victory. Correction from earlier, too, we weren't playing Raid, we were playing Breakthrough, which they have managed to do here. So again, we're just calling the shore basically good enough for deployment purposes for them here. So the Milicianos made it out there. We did survive some shots here. Actually, sorry, the Milicianos Indios finished off the last of our Buccaneers, so they are unfortunately all dead and gone. They were hoping to recover and take some pot shots at the Milicianos, but that didn't happen. Again, they just got arrows literally everywhere. Our Buccaneers came back and wiped out some more of them and caused them to be shaken with 3 fatigue, so they ran away again, but we're at the end of the game, unfortunately. And then the Lanceros basically started walking up to, again, end of the game, so it really wasn't going to be super important, but bodies littered everywhere, so it's going to be an interesting turn of events if we had continued playing, but we're going to call it here because the game is going to end at 6 turns. But still I think would have been rough for the French here. They probably could have seen off the last of the native archers, but then again, the Lanceros are just so damn deadly on the charge, and not too worried about what the Milicianos could have done. We think we would have been fine there at some point. But as far as strike points go, so it's a 3-2 victory for the Spanish. So French with 3, Spanish with 2. So again, strike points is points against you in this game. So minor victory here, but certainly not the sort of one-sided massacres that the Spanish have been perpetrating in our battle series so far. So kudos for the French here for getting some better action in. We'll have more for you guys in the near future, and hopefully finally feature some other factions, as some of the other players will hopefully start getting their stuff painted in our group. So hopefully we'll get some English at some point soon and some pirates. Still waiting on that Kickstarter as well, so we'll be eager to test out some of that stuff. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Drop us a like and a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. We'll see you back next time.